Did you know that some gut motility issues are rooted in dysfunctional thyroid? I think thyroid disorders are really underappreciated in the general population, and particularly in women with MCAS. Now, we know that there are many mast cells in the thyroid gland, as there are many mast cells in many organs and glands throughout the body. What we see not infrequently in patients, at least in my population, is various autoimmune type thyroid conditions like Hashimoto's or Graves'. Sometimes those conditions are subclinical, meaning that, at least subclinical from a traditional medicine model, meaning that patients have antibodies, but it looks like their thyroid function is normal. And particularly in Hashimoto's, where the Hashimoto's is causing a slightly underactive thyroid condition, I find that a lot of endocrinologists sort of ignore it and say, well, you have antibodies, it's not doing anything, so we're just gonna watch it because theoretically your thyroid hormone levels look, quote unquote, normal. Now, the question is, what is normal? You know, I've covered this before, that lab tests are notorious for not giving us all the information that we need, right? So a lot of endocrinologists will rely on, and other doctors will rely on, the TSH level, which is the pituitary gland's hormone level. TSH is thyroid stimulating hormone, and they'll rely on that to understand what the thyroid is doing, because the TSH talks to the thyroid gland and tells it either to make more or less thyroid hormone. If the TSH is normal, there's a understanding that the thyroid must be normal then. But the pituitary could think things are normal, but maybe the pituitary isn't working well either. And in fact, you could see what looks like normal free T4 levels or free T3 levels, and again, assume that thyroid function is normal. However, if there is a problem with gut motility, temperature regulation, mood disorders, particularly depression and anxiety, difficulty losing weight, or even actually the opposite, maybe weight loss that is unexplained. And there are a host of lots of other symptoms that can be attributed to thyroid dysfunction. Very often what we see is that there could be a increased level of reverse T3. Reverse T3 is something that the body converts from T4, and that blocks the effects of T3. T3 is really your active thyroid hormone. That's what goes to all your cells and tells it to do what it needs to do. And T4 is what's stored in the thyroid gland. So the body converts T4 to T3. T3 is what most of the cells are making and binding to. But overproduction of reverse T3 could interfere with the function of T3, leading to a lot of these symptoms that we see. So very often, this is, again, underappreciated, not understood, because it's theoretically not a thyroid problem. It may be more rooted in the adrenal glands. Either way, treating with T3 hormone alone, or sometimes with T4, depending, can be really helpful in improving the function of the cells. Mast cells have receptors for thyroid hormone on their surface, as do other cells. And what I find is that when supplementing with the appropriate thyroid hormone, it can help very often with motility in the GI tract. Now, not across the board. There are different forms of motility issues that our patients have. I'm bringing up one particular type of motility issue that can be helped with the appropriate thyroid supplementation. So just wanted to make you all aware, and I hope that helps.